After all, when the mind, heart, and soul are in great place, everything follows. So this 2022, I officially unveil to you Gamify Revive. This year, expect sought after speakers, insightful talks, unforgettable conversations, and experiences that will make you feel renewed each session. When you attend Gamify Revive, you will learn at the same time, take care of yourself too. I hope everyone can join the next session of Gamify Revive. Enjoy the talk about love with our speakers later and stay tuned for more exciting announcements. Thank you, everyone.
Oh no, di ba? Wow! The future
Wow!
really looks bright and
Yeah!
promising with Gamma Global Philippines as we just unveiled and rebranded Kapihan 2022 to Gamify Revive.
Amazing! Level up, no? So yung dati nating kapihan na gustong-gusto nating pinupuntahan is now Gamify Revive. Alright, 2022 has just begun and may our vibes be full of positivity, inspiration, hope, and love, especially now that it's the month of hearts.
Yes, tama ka, RJ. Alam ko yung iba dyan, medyo may hangover pa sa
I know.
celebration nila ng Hearts Month, di ba? And with love being mentioned, it's time to meet our speakers.
Our speakers are a couple who are both best-selling authors, sought-after speakers, and entrepreneurs. I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. One is a Miss Universe first runner-up and award-winning host and an actress. Her other half is a pioneer, angelpreneur, mentor for Go Negosyo, and speaks on the success mindsets of entrepreneurs. Among his many awards and recognitions in and out of the country is being one of the top 10 entrepreneurs in 2006 and was voted most inspiring entrepreneur of Microsoft and Entrepreneur Magazine. To talk about love in the time of COVID-19, here is power couple Ardy Roberto and Miriam Quiambao-Roberto.
Ano ba? Don't you care how I feel?
Stop nagging me.
Hindi kita ninanag, in-ignore mo kasi.
I'm not ignoring you. I just want to be quiet because I might shout.
O nag-shout ka na nga, ang drama mo talaga.
Drama.
Oo, para kang, you're a second-rate, trying hard, copycat. Uy, ano pala? Hi po, pasensya na. May konting iskit lang po.
Ayun.
Hi, kamusta?
So we're
Sounds
here
familiar ba? Nag-aaway din ba kayo sa bahay nyo?
Yun. So we're here para maiwasan nyo yung ganyan scenario. Diba?
Skit lang po yun.
Yun. So good afternoon, and I don't know if there are people from abroad, so good morning, good evening sa inyong lahat. Hope you like our little skit. Konting drama lang to talk about our topic, love in a time of COVID. Nakaka-stress kasi.
Yeah,
diba?
alam mo, uso-uso din naman ng mga TikTok video ngayon, ano? Kung TikTok video ito, malamang natapos na yung ating skit sa skit talaga, no? With 3 quick rules about relationships.
Okay.
Number 1, no shouting at each other unless the house is on fire.
Yes.
Wow.
Number 2, be kind and extra gracious to each other.
Yun, syempre, grace, kailangan. And number 3, no fighting with your partner, just fight for your marriage together. Yun.
So we'll talk about, these pointers and much more in our talk today about
love. Kailangan may R. Love. O, diba? Okay.
Already na? Okay.
Kamusta naman kayo dyan? Hello po. We are zooming in from the island of Boracay. Dito po sa Discovery Shores Resort. Ayan. Can you please type in what part of the world, not part of the world, are you watching from. Yan.
Yeah,
Oh, he's may
Alabang.
Alabang.
Clark,
May
Imus,
Clark,
Davao,
may
Quezon City.
Davao. QC, ang dami nila sunod-sunod. Cebu,
Mm-mm.
CDO, Bicol, Cavite,
Legazpi,
Antipolo, Pasig,
Pasig.
Las Piñas,
Oh, ito,
Parañaque,
may
Aklan,
Albay.
may taga-Aklan, no? Ay, ang bilis.
Ozamis,
Batangas,
ang dami sila.
Malabon, Nueva
397 na sila.
Ecija,
Hello.
Laguna. Ayan, all
Ang
over Tagum
Tagum,
City.
Laguna, Tacloban, Cebu.
Ayun, all over the
Alright.
world. Hello po sa inyong lahat. Nakapag-lunch na ba kayo? Sana'y busog na kayo and full of energy dahil sa araw na ito, di ba? Tamang-tama, meron kaming importanteng mensahe para sa inyo.
Yeah. And since Valentine's month pa rin tayo, allow us to start by sharing with you a love story.
Yun.
Ayan. Are you ready?
Are you
Okay.
ready? Type
Alright.
in.
So, ito.
Ayun na. May
Yeah.
humahabol pa, butuan. Okay. O, anong istorya? Anong istorya?
Ito, okay. So, once upon a time,
Mm-mm.
there was this man and he went to a Bible study. Di ba?
Aba,
Oo.
Bible study.
Bible study siya.
Oh.
Pero upon arriving back home, sinulubong siya ng kanyang asawa.
Oh, ano
And
sabi?
agad-agad, alam mo ginawa niya, the man carried his wife and put her on his shoulders.
Uy, ang sweet!
Oo, so yung wife, happy siya.
Mhm.
Parang, di ba? Parang honeymoon ulit, di ba?
Oo nga.
So sabi niya, honey, bakit ang romantic mo naman?
Oo
Ano bang
nga.
pinag-aralan nyo sa Bible study niyan? Romancing ba? About love? Loving your wives?
Makapunta nga sa
Hmm.
Bible study na yan. Ano
Pero
sabi
alam
ng
mo,
lalaki?
wala, dead man lang siya.
Dead ma?
Tapos sinabi niya sa babae, sa kanyang asawa, actually, pinag-aralan namin ng command ni Jesus to go and carry your cross every day.
Uy, over ha? Ibig mong sabihin, ako ba ang cross mo? Ganon?
Hindi ka naman
Ikaw-
ganyan. You're definitely not my cross.
Oh, buti naman.
Kasi yung team lang na binigay ng gama
Mm.
sa atin ngayon is family and spirituality.
Eh, bakit mo yung mga jokes na geto biglang
Ewan ko nga ba
lumalabas-labas na
kasi
lang?
siguro maraming mga marriages on the rocks and are very, very rocky.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yes, RJ, mahirap talaga pag live, ano? Marami pwede mangyari. Pero nagulat ako kanina, RJ. Akala ko talaga nag-aaway sila, ha?
Oo nga. Ang galing ha. Ang galing nilang ano. Pwede na silang mag-artista. Yeah.
Isa ko talaga.
Ang sweet eh. Kinikilig ako. Sa totoo lang ha. Talagang parang, wow, perfect couple, no? Kaya all ears ako eh. Kaya medyo nabitin tayo pero yeah. Pag-usapan natin ulit ang Valentine's, no? I'm sure sa karamihan sa atin, yeah, we enjoyed Valentine's Day. And si Ardy and Miriam, sobrang sweet, no? Ganyan din ba kayo?
Yes. Siyempre!
Ayun! Di ba?
RJ, ha? My husband and I are together na for more than 20 years. So, di ba?
More than 20 years. Well, congratulations. Wow. O sige, eto na. Ibalik na natin. I think they're ready na.
Yes.
I think they're ready. So let's welcome back Ardy and Miriam.
Thanks, EJ and Lane. Ako, pati yung internet nagalit sa away. Baka parang nagtampo.
O pag nagkaroon ng turbulation daw, according to RJ.
Turbulation.
Turbulence. Turbulence. Oo nga, no, turbulence. O yan. So, balik tayo sa pinag-uusapan natin kanina, di ba? About carrying your cross in your relationships. Ilan po sa inyo ang medyo you feel like you're carrying a cross in your relationship, no? Hindi niyo naman kailangan i-reveal dito, pero
baka makita pa ng
oo
partner.
nga, baka TMI. Pero hindi naman siguro sana ganyan yung love story na gusto nating mangyari sa ating lahat.
Yeah. Pero let's get really, ika nga, ilan sa inyo know in this stage of your life that, what? that it's not always kilig-kilig moments, diba? Meron din mga challenges.
Oo, kami lang ba yung gano'n? Yung may challenge? Kami lang ba? Parang ano,
Hindi
natural lang
nga.
naman
Oo.
di ba, na magkaroon ng challenges sa relationship. Kasi syempre, tao tayo. Meron kang sariling pag-iisip. Meron din akong sariling pag-iisip. Iba kinalakihan mo, iba rin kinalakihan ko, di ba? So, at some point, magka-clash din talaga tayo. Kumbaga, magkakaroon tayong mga disagreements.
And couple that with the stress of being in lockdown and the changing, COVID protocols, etc. So magkakaroon talaga ng stress.
So, tama. may tanong lang ako.
Okay, go.
How many of you have fought with your spouse na nag-LQ mula ECQ, GCQ, BBQ, lockdown? Mula nang lockdown. Please type in the box the number of times you got into a fight with your spouse or karelasyon mo this pandemic. Malala mo pa ba yun? Mabibilang mo ba yun? Tayo
Siguro,
ilan?
tayo mga 2 beses siguro.
Yung malakihan. Pero meron din tayo mga small irritations, di ba? Ikaw yung mas madrama sa atin.
Kasi kailangan ng beauty queen ng
Naglaga na ba ito?
Kailangan ng beauty queen ng drama king.
Yun na yun. Di ba? Alam niyo na kung sinong madrama sa atin.
Jezebel.
Seldom lang daw.
Of course, yan. Lagi magkasama, nakaka-stress.
Oo, lalo na pag lockdown.
Sabi ni Marge.
Oo, di ba? Parang 24/7 kayong magkasama, hindi kayo makalabas. Buti nga ngayon, lumalabas-labas na yung sa alert number 2 na ngayon, di ba?
CJ 1,536.
What? Tayo
EJ,
mga 1,535. Lamang ka, EJ.
Pero no, seriously, do you know what the effect of the quarantine was on marriages and relationships?
Sige, tingnan
Since
natin.
the start and until now, tingnan natin. We did some research. And ito nga, I read that in China, kung saan nag-start yung coronavirus, the increase, there's been a spike in the divorce rate.
Oo nga. I can imagine. Actually, according to this article, the divorce rate in this area in China has soared compared to before the pandemic, explaining that young people are spending a lot more time at home. So they tend to get into heated arguments dahil nga merong something petty. Tapos, because of these petty arguments, they rush into getting a divorce.
Wow.
Di ba? Parang, buti lang hindi ganyan nangyari sa atin, babe.
Oo nga eh. Sa atin, the opposite, Max. Parang what was predicted by
Hindi,
this...
ang masarap kasi, di ba, yung pagkatapos mag-away, tapos
Make-up.
Make-up, yan.
Yan. So, parang ganyan ang nangyayari dito. What happened to us was this, di ba?
Oo, ganyan.
Diba?
Sa Ireland naman, they predict nila yung baby boom based on the 67% increase in pregnancy test kits during the pandemic. Ganyan yung nangyari sa amin.
Oo, di ba? Nagpa-pregnancy test tayo noong December 2020 and...
Boom! Ayun. Nag-announce kami, we're positive. Not with COVID, but with our third child. Yan.
Miracle yan, di ba?
Oo, kasi imagine mo, 46 na ako. Nabuntis ako for the second
46
time.
ka na?
Oo.
Parang 26 ka na.
Nax, talaga. Ay, hindi. At this time,
Points.
nung points na. Basta mamayang gabi. 45 na ako at this time.
Okay,
Tapos
okay.
46 ako nanganak. Tapos, may diagnosis pa ako ng APAS.
Grabe.
So, considering, miracle talaga yan.
Yeah. Okay. But, di ba? With God, all things are possible, di ba?
Tama. Sabi dito ni Julie Miranda, the difference in between, if it comes to heavy-duty misunderstandings, is when you ask God as the center of your marriage to love and forgive. Yun.
Okay.
Sabi nga na baby namin sa t-shirt, diba? With God, all things are possible.
And now, yung bunso,
Yan.
si
Si baby Ezekiel joins his Kuya Elijah in the middle of the Miracle Baby Club.
Yeah. Kasi si Elijah, miracle baby din yan.
Oo.
He was born when you were 43.
43.
Ayan.
Yan. So ito na ngayon si baby Ziki, 7 months old na siya. And if you haven't read the articles in ABS-CBN and GMA yet, nag-move na po kami dito sa Boracay. And official beach babes na po ang aming mga baby.
Ito, Boracay
Yeah.
Beach Babe.
And we
And
have
we have a
two
Boracay
beach
Beach Baby.
Yeah.
We're so happy talaga.
Yung teenager natin medyo nagwa-warm up eh.
But if you want to find out more about our decision to move to Boracay, in our upcoming vlog this weekend, we have a YouTube channel called Life with Miriam and Ardy, and we will reveal to you all the reasons why we moved to Boracay. And a lot of it has to do with relationships. Diba? And speaking of Boracay, we're so grateful to
Discovery Shores,
Yeah,
Boracay.
for hosting our stay today at their wonderful, amazing suite.
Oo, super ganda po dito, guys. Naku, magpunta na kayo sa Boracay. And dito po sa place namin, pakita natin, baby, mga pictures.
Ito,
Ayan, Discovery.
Yan, biro mo, diyan ka mag-work, di
Sa
ba?
may mezzanine yan,
Yan,
di ba?
papasok mo.
Watching the eye. Ito po, taken this morning. Halos
on the
walang tao
way.
sa beach.
Mm-mm,
Yan, di ba?
Sarap, di ba?
Biruin mo every morning, yan ang tanawin na gigisnan mo. Ayan.
Kung ayaw mo sa beach, di mag-pool
Hindi
ka.
sa pool ka na lang.
Or if you get the suite, yan.
Yan.
Sa jacuzzi.
Yun, we're so blessed po. Ganito po yung in-upgrade po nila kami dito sa suite na may jacuzzi overlooking the sea. Yan. Kaya mamayang hapon, diyan kami tatambay.
Sabi ni Pauline, yan. DSB pala yan. Discovery Shores Boracay is her favorite in Bor.
Ay, pareho tayo. Yan, favorite namin to. Tapos, ayan, ito po ang aming work from home setup. Pero, yung kanina, ayan.
Okay.
Ito po yung setup namin right now. Tapos, alam mo, isa sa mga paborito ko dito sa Discovery Shores, bukod sa tanawin, tapos sa magandang development, yung pagkaka-personalize nila for every guest. Biruin mo pagdating namin, ito yung umusbong sa amin, welcome home, Ardy and Miriam, may mga cake pa, tapos yung picture namin in every room.
Yeah.
Grabe talaga.
So if you want to come over, join us in Boracay. Meron,
may promo sila.
May promo sila. They even have a package, 30 days work from home package. Just go to their website and actually you can take a picture of this. Lalakihan ko to. Ito yung special promo just for Gamma members.
Yeah, so you just use their coupon code GAMMA and you get may discount ba sila?
30% off the already discounted rate.
Wow.
Diba? Ayan, I can't wait to relax and honeymoon with you here, honey.
Tandaan nyo po, gamitin nyo yung coupon code GAMMA. You can get 30% off their listed rates.
Yeah. Problema lang, babe, baka masundan ka si Siki. Nandito tayo.
God willing. Anyway, nasa Boracay naman tayo. Bata ka pa naman. 23 lang ako.
Kanina 26.
Nagpapabata ng sarili. Anyway.
Pero di ba, dapat babae naman sana.
Oo, sana nga. Okay, so next.
But seriously.
Ano yan?
Ito, they can watch this on ito. So yan.
Ayan, so depende sa will ni Lord, di ba? Pero syempre, yan, kung if you haven't yet watched our vlog about how I got pregnant at 45, yan. If you're somehow praying and hoping to have a baby of your own, I invite you to watch po my vlog in Life with Ardy and Miriam YouTube channel. Get crucial information and inspiration. Kasi po, kahit focus na po, fight the face pa rin yan. Don't give up, basta may buhay. And my OB-GYN, Dr. Becky Singson, gave some tips to my audience on how you can prepare yourself for a late pregnancy. O, di ba?
So, basta may buhay?
Habang buhay, may pag-asa. Kay Lord, nothing is impossible with Him.
Amen.
Ayun.
So, balik tayo sa love in a time of COVID. You want to ask him a question?
Okay. Ang tanong, anong effect ng pandemic at mga lockdown or quarantine sa relationships ninyo? Dalawa lang ang sagot dyan.
Kunyari, naging mas mainit ba or nang lamig? So, please type in the chat box, hot, na parang aros caldo, kung mainit-init, or type
cold, na parang iceberg ng lamig. Uy, sabi ni Thea, hot daw.
Hot na hot.
Oo.
Okay.
Yung iba, hot, sabi ni Dia Benlayo.
Hot.
Si Mika, Angeline, hot din. Yung iba kaya.
Kakaiba itong mga taga-gama mga hot talaga
Oo. Siyempre.
Baka machismis kasi pag na yung cold
Wala kang sumasagot ng cold puro hot. Pero alam ko 423 tayo ngayon Nasaan na kaya yung iba? Baka nag-iisip pa sila.
Sizzling
hot. Wow, very hot. Super
hot. Magkana tayo. Bye-bye na. Puro hot pala
O di wala na tayong
warm lang. Warm.
Warm.
Si Lucky.
Malay mo, maging hot after
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Di ba?
Anyway, you know what? To make it even hotter, or those who nahiya, alam ko baka medyo nanigas yung mga daliri nyo para isulat yung code kasi medyo nanginginig sa lamig at inis na inis kayo sa partner niyo.
Well, our desire is for every relationship to be hot. Diba?
Yes.
Actually, Ardy, ang totoo is the pandemic really has cost us not just health, physical health, mental health, and economic challenges. Pero yun nga, kasama pati mental challenges as well.
Okay. That's why napaka-importante to make sure that we are taking care of our marriages and even our relationships in the family. Alam mo ba, Miriam, do you know that sabi ng isang study sa Harvard that our happiness actually depends on the quality of our relationships. So today, ang pag-uusapan natin is how to make our relationships not just survive, but thrive and grow.
Quality talaga. All right. So, Ardy, I will present to you the 3 secrets to making our marriages to love and grow in and out of pandemics.
Yan. Pero bago yan, can we share with them a little bit nag-request sila about our love story of how you fell in love with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Kwento natin yung katotohanan. The whole truth. Nothing but the truth.
Yeah, totoo
help
yan.
me
Hindi niya
God.
ako type. Pero yun. So help me God.
Okay, go. My love.
Okay.
You begin. Okay.
Okay.
For inspiration.
Wow.
Ayan. Okay,
Sana
go.
meron kasunod sa honeymoon mamaya. Okay.
Galingan mo.
Okay. By the way, before we get into our love story and the lessons we learn about growing our love and marriage, and speaking about honeymoons, and of course, again, don't forget to book na your flights and go to Discovery Shores, Boracay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, ang kwento. Let me share my love story first. Yeah. Ako, I married 2 women. But not at the same time. Okay. Before I married Miriam, I was once married to another beauty queen. Yeah, Miss FEU, grade school. Actually, her name was the late, great Margot Tingting Linsangan Roberto of Cagayan de Oro City. Ayan. So mga those of you from Butuan, Cagayan de Oro, I'm sure you are familiar, kasama niyang Bisaya. She was my girlfriend for 5 years before I remember to marry her in 1995. Tagal na nun, di ba? So 5 years into our marriage, our vow of in sickness and in health was tested. Meron palang systemic lupus si Tingting.
Parang yun yung di ba? Yun yung sakit ni
Ferdinand Marcos.
And Chris Aquino.
And Chris Aquino, that's right. Yes, that was the same illness. Muntik na ako maging widower in the year 2000 when it first struck her. So her story was so bad and miraculous as well in paggaling niya that she was featured even in Reader's Digest Asia. Oo. It was a supernatural healing, miraculous, sabi ng mga doctors, and her recovery as well was so amazing that she was called miracle patient by her doctors. Okay? And in fact, I wrote an award-winning book, The Heart of Healing, about her recovery from lupus. Available in book na yan called The Heart of Healing sa Amazon as an ebook and sa Lazada. Okay, sign na po yan. We have a Lazada and Shopee store called Life and Style with Miriam and Ardy. So just search for it. Okay.
One word.
Anyway, it gave her an extension of life and dapat patay na siya in the year 2000, but she survived and we expected to live life and grow old together. We were even able to grow our family through the miracle of adoption. Yes, we adopted, and we're proud to say that we adopted an adorable 6-month-old baby boy whom we named Josh, and now he's 14. But 12 years later, we found out that the lupus was back and it was stage 5 and much, much more serious. So 6 months in and out of the hospital and the ICU, sitting. And we experienced intense grief and joy. Grief because of the sickness and joy in the Lord in the ICU. And sabi ko nga kay Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing us here in the ICU. I feel so close to you. I see you in the ICU, sabi ko kay Lord. But on January 5, 2013, Ting Ting took her last breath as I cradled her in my arms. And the grief and sadness was so intense that there were times when I wanted to join my Ting Ting when I was driving off my car, when I was driving in the sky. I just wanted to drive off. At gusto ko nang pakamatay. Pero the Lord would tell me, anak, don't be sad because you're going to love again. Yan ang binubunog sa akin lagi ni Lord. And you know what? Even our son Joshua, who was that time just 5 years old, before his mom died, he would pray this prayer. He would say, God, please give my dad a new wife so I can have a new mom. And guess what happened? On my birthday, a few months later, after I blew the candles of my birthday cake, I asked Josh, Anak, what did you wish for your dad? And Josh answered, Dad, I prayed that Mama is happy in heaven and that God would give you a new wife. Grabe, no? And you know what? The prayer by this little boy of mine to the God of the universe, not the universe, but the God of the universe was answered because the God of the universe brought us a Miss Universe.
Oh, yan. So
And the rest is history, or rather, her story. So, ayan. It's your turn. The
Okay.
Miss Universe ng buhay ko, Miriam Quiambao.
Yes, thank you. So inspiring naman your story and so touching. So kayo naman po, di ba nakilala niyo po ako bilang nanalo ng Miss Universe back in 1999. Since then, doors opened for me to work in show business. And I excelled in hosting and I dabbled into acting. But even though I was in the middle of the limelight, I'm making a lot of money and my shows were rating so high, parang there was a point in my life where I felt like parang my life is empty. And I decided na maybe it's time for me to start my own family so that I could have more meaning in my life. So at the time in 2003, or 2003, I had a boyfriend who was Italian. He proposed to me, and in January 9, 2004, we got married in the church in Boracay. So this picture was taken during our reception, actually right next door. Sa Fridays, doon kami nag-reception. And he basically whisked me off my feet into the sunset, and he flew me to Hong Kong, where we were based. We had a house in Hong Kong, and we had a house in Italy. But he basically showered me with a luxurious lifestyle. And if you can see in this picture, my clothes, shoes, and bags were all really branded. Then ako unang naka-experience ng mga branded bags. Yung mga dati kong jewelry na nasa SM ko lang nabibili, napalitan ng mga totoo. And basically, yung kumbaga, privileged Italian princess ang naging buhay ko na married siya. Kaya lang, after 2.5 years, after 2 years, I fell into depression kasi bukod sa nami-miss ko yung family ko, nami-miss ko yung work ko kasi housewife ako niyan. Parang I felt like in our relationship, kahit meron kaming problema, hindi namin napag-uusapan. At para lang nawawalis sa ilalim ng carpet. So madumi pa rin. After 2.5 years, 'di ba? All the arguments that were never truly resolved broke our marriage down. I fell into depression, which affected our marriage. Tapos, nahiwalay ako sa kanya. And I remember coming home to the Philippines, lying in the sofa of my parents' house, willing myself to die. Sabi ko, Lord, wala na akong pag-asa para mabuhay. Kunin mo na ako. Hanggang natulog ako dun sa sofa nang umiiyak. Gumising ako kinabukasan ng mga bandang 2:00, 3:00 yata ng umaga. Nagtataka ako, bakit buhay pa ako? Sabi ko, siguro may plano ang Panginoon. So, with whatever was left in my life and whatever strength I had, I tried to pick myself up. Buti na lang, binigyan ako ng trabaho ng GMA. Kahit paano, nasusustentuhan ko sarili ko kasi ni isang kusing, hindi talaga ako binibigyan ng ex-husband ko at that time. And after many, many years, 2 years of siguro going back and forth, he filed a divorce. He filed for divorce in Hong Kong, and then after 6 years, 5-6 years later, na-finalize na po yung divorce namin. But still, deep in my heart, I still had hopes that one day I'd finally marry God's best for me. Talagang dinaan ko po yun talaga sa dasal, and I was so inspired by this quote from Max Lucado, which says, "A woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him just to find her." And you know what? During this time, I had already given my heart, my life. I surrendered my life already to the Lord Jesus Christ. And just being with him, he helped me heal my heart completely, and he made me feel complete even if I had nothing else but Jesus. He was really enough for me. And as I journeyed into my faith and grew more in my knowledge of Jesus, Jesus really helped restore every aspect of my life that was taken away. Like, he restored my career, he restored my relationship with my family, my parents especially. Kung dati, being a divorced woman, laman ako ng mga club, the Lord somehow took me out of the clubs kasi nandun ako hanging out looking for, a wealthy man who will fall in love with me. Pero ano namang quality ng relationship sa matatagpuan mo sa mga clubs, diba? The Lord somehow took me out of that club and brought me to 700 Club, where he used my skills for hosting and sharing stories so that we could introduce stories of people whose lives have been transformed as a relationship with God. And you know what, true enough, being part of this show really inspired me that one day the Lord will also answer my prayer, because there is really nothing impossible with him. And so, hanging on to his word in Psalm 37 verse 4, this verse really inspired me to delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Because deep inside, even if my career has gotten back and I was earning money again, still in my heart, I wanted to have a life partner, to build a family, and a family that will serve the Lord, that will give him glory. And you know what? As I really just focus on Jesus, sabi nga ng isang pastor, don't even look for the man. Focus on Jesus, do his work. He will bring the man to you. And true enough, my friends, as I delighted in the Lord and allowed him to just show me and introduce me to the man that he has picked out for me. One day, 3 weeks into my 38th birthday, when I blew the candle in my surprise birthday cake, I whispered a wish. Ang sabi ko, I wish for a love life on my birthday. Yan. Tapos, the Lord whispered a name in my heart. And the name was Ardy. O yun. Wala naman akong ibang kakilalang Ardy. Siya lang kakilala ko. And during that time, he was actually my mentor when I was writing my book. So, hindi ko talaga siya type kasi during that time, buhay pa si Tingting. Ako naman, mahilig ako sa mga mestizo. Meron pa akong ibang pinagpe-pray na mestizo na somehow hindi magka-intercept yung parang may MU na kami, pero lagi ako na i-intercept ng mas malanding babae or somehow. Pero yung pala, hindi yun ang gusto ni Lord for me. Ang gusto niya, si Ardy Roberto. Kaya after Ardy laid down his intentions on our first date with 6 cups of cupcakes that had toppings spelled out, "I like you." Ba, sabi niya, okay, sana magugulat but I want you to know that I like you. I want to get to know you because my intention is to marry you. Halos nalagdag talaga ako sa upuan kasi, what? Marriage agad? Diba? But after a lot of praying and taking time to get to know one another, and 10 months of courtship, we finally got married in Saan nga ba tayo?
Vilsome.
In Vilsome, in
Tagaytay.
Alfonso, Cavite, in front of our family and friends. And it was one of the happiest times of our lives because finally the Lord answered my prayer to give me a ministry partner, a business partner, and of course, a partner in raising our children.
And Joshua's prayer was also answered.
Yes, his
Yeah.
prayer was answered. If you want to know more the details, our love story is written in the last 3 chapters of my book, He Can Catch You When You Fall. It's available in our store in Shopee and Lazada, and we'll be posting the link
A little later, yeah.
a little later.
Yeah.
So just hanapin nyo lang po, Life and Style. Life and Style with Miriam and Ardy. One word po yun. Hanapin nyo po yan sa Shopee and Lazada. So there, that's my kwento. And now, may we present to you 3 proven ways to keep your relationship
hot, like arroz caldo, at hindi malamig, at cold like yellow. So,
ayan,
ready na ba
tayo?
kayo? So, konting pakilig na ng konti. At least you know more about our love story as requested by the Gamma Boy.
Yes.
Kasi Valentine's. But we also want to share with you, now in our marriage, how do we keep our relationship growing and hot as well, di ba? So,
siyempre, kung hindi porke pareho kayo nakakilala kay Lord, di ba? Maayos na talaga lahat ng relationship niyo as in perfect. Na hindi po, as we mentioned kanina, di ba? Nag-aaway pa rin kami. Pero, by the grace of God, di ba, we're still able to thresh things out and resolve things so that we can further thrive and grow in our relationship.
So there are 3 pointers that simply spell like an acrostic GROW. So GR stands for
grace-filled. Yeah. And then O means to be other-centered instead of self-centered. And finally, the third and most important one is W, walking with God in your relationship. So let's begin with GR.
Okay, I just want to know our audience, how many of you are married? And if you are, if you're married, just put in the number of years that you've been married here in the chat box para naman may idea kami para kung sino makausap natin. Okay,
24.
32, 13, 5. Oh,
32.
may bagong kasal. 1, 26, 4. Okay.
Ang dami.
Oo.
Parang pinakatagal yata nakita ko, 42. Yan, si Alma
Alma.
Clarino. Susunod ay
Marlene,
38 years.
Christine Cuyos, turning 5. Congratulations.
Si Miss Vilma Alcaraz din pala, 42 years na sila.
Oh, Miss Vilma, kayo na mag-talk dito.
Oo, I'm sure mas marami siyang alam kaysa sa atin kasi yung experience niya, di ba? Imagine, 42 years.
Well, actually tayo, if you combine all of our marriages, ako 17 years, ikaw 2, 19 plus mag-8 na tayo. So 27 years experience of marriage.
Ako 10 years.
Of marriage, between the two of us.
Between the two of us.
Okay.
Pero syempre, natutunan ko doon, in-apply ko dito. Mas meron pa akong natutunan doon sa mga mentors ko in church. In-apply ko rin dito, nag-work naman.
But by the way, these tips that we'll share with you are not just for those who are married, but can also apply if you're single. Kasi you can apply these secrets to your boyfriend, or girlfriend, or even your family relationships between your parents, siblings, and relatives. Okay? So, singles, just hold on and you'll learn something as well. And at the end of the talk, we'll have a special tip for the singles as well. So, again, GR is about being grace-filled. Yeah. So, marami dito married for more than 10 years, di ba? Ano sa tingin nyo? Everybody, can you put in a keyword? What do you think is the key? Okay, maybe 3 words. Okay, what do you think is the key to long-lasting relationships, especially those who said that you're married for more than 30 years, 40 years? Okay, what do you think?
Chiki, communication, trust, and love.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, what else? What are your guesses?
Ayan,
Open communication.
Angeline, yes. Respect, forgiveness, trust, God, love, God in the center, daily acts. Ang gaganda ng mga tips nila. Oh.
Not giving up, being selfless, respect.
Listen, daily acts. I like that. Daily acts of love.
Transparency, respect, most of all, God at the center, sabi ni Pauline. Humility, patience.
Daily couple prayer.
Give
I like
and
that.
take.
Mary and Beth, give and take.
Magaganda lahat ng mga sinabi
Oo,
nila.
eh.
Friendship.
Pero alam nyo, there is a couple who have been married for 90 years. Biro mo? Matagal ito, 40, more than double that of the longest married couple here.
Ano kaya ang secret nila?
So meron silang 90 years na, and they share the secret of their 90 years of marriage in 3 words. Yun. Ano kaya yun?
Ano kaya yun?
In those 3 words, sabi nga, ito yung sikreto na kung paano sila nakatagal ng 90 years, ito yun. Sabi nila, okay, yeah, can you see that? The secret to 90 years of marriage in 3 words is, I am sorry.
Yung pala yung 3 words na yun.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
I am sorry. That's why daw nakatagal sila ng 90 years.
In fairness.
Oo, 90 years.
Sino sa atin ang madalas mag-sorry?
In fairness, it's my wife, guys, who's
Ako yung unang nagsasorry
always
kasi
the
nga madrama
first
siya.
to say I'm sorry. Kasi ako matampo ng unggoy.
Unggoy. Ako naman, I'm proud of my humility. Joke lang. Yun. So, grace-filled. Kasi the Bible says that we should be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. Yan. That's coming from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. And when you do that, always being one to forgive, to be kind and tender-hearted.
What will
diba?
happen? Yan.
Yun.
Paano mo ginagawa yun? How do you do that? Diba? So, ito, siguro be kind so that your tension-filled home where people are walking on eggshells, diba? Hindi na yun. Kasi mahirap yung pag lagi kang masungit, tayo kang galit, diba? Instead of being kind, people are walking on eggshells.
Tsaka yung, kumbaga, imbis na susumbo mo yung tao, diba? Tumahimik ka na lang. That's also being kind. O kaya yung, nagugutom yung kabila, bibigyan mo ng pagkain. Ganon.
Just being tender-hearted naman versus being hard-hearted, di ba? You melt your enemies heart by being kind, di ba? Sabi nga ni Jesus, di ba? Love your enemies, di ba?
May sinabi si Kazan dito. Marriage is a relationship in which one is always right, the other one is the husband. Babae daw ang laging tama. Go. Push natin yan.
Yeah, okay. But be forgiving versus be bitter. Being
so,
bitter.
Kind, tender-hearted, and forgiving.
Yeah. So yun yung key nandiyan sa Ephesians 4:32.
Ayun naman palang secret.
Yun. So kayo, how would you rate yourself in terms of being kind, tender-hearted, and forgiving of one another? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself? Sige nga.
Uy, sabi ni Mon, happy wife, happy life.
Oh, of course.
Kailangan happy.
Yan. Tsaka asthma. Ask my wife. Yan, gagamitan lang naman taga-gama. Ang mabait nila, puro 10, 10. Evangelina, 8.
Ibig sabihin, may room for growth,
yeah.
Diba? Kung 8 ang number.
Okay.
May 11 pa. Sino to? Si Alma. Maraming patience. Marriage is not a word, it's a sentence. It's a lifetime sentence.
Naku, may napaparinig.
Meron pang 7. Okay lang naman, walang judgment dito, no? Kung 8, 7, 6, or 5 ka. Ibig sabihin, that's why nga we're here in this conversation. Para naman, we have room to grow. And whatever is the gap, diba? Then we can fill in that gap. So, okay lang
si
po
Tess, 12 pa.
Wow.
Baka pinagsama niyo yung
siya.
mag-asawa.
Ha?
Addition.
Ayun. Okay, so apart from these 3, being kind, tender-hearted, and forgiving, alam niyo po ba that there is such a thing as apology languages? Since pagiging I am sorry ang naging secret ng 90-year-long marriage.
Dapat pag-aralan natin.
Hindi lang po sorry ang dapat sabihin. Actually, meron pang sinasabing 5 apology languages.
Parang 5 love languages, diba? Yan yung sikat. Pero the same author came up with 5 apology languages.
So here it is. I'm going to enlarge it right now. Ay, nasa
kabila.
Ayun. So ito po. So number 1, meron kasing tao na naiintindihan nila yung I'm sorry when you express regret. Like, pag sinabi mo, "Oy, I apologize, I'm sorry," okay na sa kanila yon, di ba? Yun yung number one. Pero meron din ng mga tao na hindi sila magfo-forgive o hindi nila tatanggapin yung apology mo unless you accept responsibility, like in number two. Yung,
sasabihin mo, I was wrong.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. Yon. Tapos meron namang number three. The third apology language is making restitution. Kumbaga, hindi sila satisfied sa I'm sorry lang. Kailangan idagdag mo yung, what can I do to make it right? And you actually really do it. Yun. Ngayon naman, merong number four, meron ka talagang genuine repentance. I'm sorry, I'll try not to do that again, or I won't do it again.
Tapos yung fifth, requesting forgiveness, which is,
sorry,
you request, will you please forgive me?
Yun.
Ikaw, ano bang language mo?
Ako, I think I am number three.
Number three.
Ikaw?
Ako, number four.
Number four.
Gusto ko yung sasabihin mo na, hindi mo na gagawin.
Hindi ko na gagawin. Paano kung accidentally nagawa ko ulit? Will you forgive me?
Basta may kiss and makeup.
Okay. Kayo po, ano ba ang apology language ninyo?
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Or all of the above. Pwede ba yan?
Ewan ko, pwede ba
so
yun?
take a screenshot of this, kasi
natin.
alam mo, nakakatulong to even with relationships outside. I use this on my family members, and it works. It works talaga. Ayan, no?
And it works not just to know your own apology language, but also the apology language of your partner.
Yun. Aalamin mo yun.
Kasi syempre, pag ikaw magsasorry, tapos kulang yung sorry mo, hindi ka niya i-forgive. Kailangan kompleto. Depende dun sa apology language ng partner niyo.
Pwede rin siguro to sa mga clients, no? Pag if you mess up and then you apply this to your clients. Gamitin mo lahat ng apology languages, di ba?
I'm sorry, I was wrong. What can I do to make it right? I'll do my best not to do it again. Will you please forgive me? Lahat na 1 to 5 kinumpleto. Sabi nga ni mo, no? All of the above, depending on what the situation is.
Ayun. Alam mo, mga audience natin dito, Miriam, these are like MDRTs. These are very successful people. And you can see from their answers na magaling sila sa relationships, no? Kaya sila nagiging top ng kanilang careers, di ba?
Yeah, that's good.
Yun. So anyway, it's true, Miriam, that for love to prosper, you need forgiveness. You need to learn the not just love languages, but apology languages. And as the Bible says, not to dwell on the other person's fault. King Solomon said, love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends.
Yun. Kaya pag may nag-forgive sa inyo,
ano bang dwelling sa sa Tagalog? Yung
talagang ninanamnam mo pa yung sakit mo. Ay, may kakilala akong gano'n.
Tapos inuulit-ulit mo, no? Pinapaalala mo.
Di ba babe, may kakilala tayo na nag-sorry na yung kabila, ayaw pa.
Kasi inaalala niya, talagang she was dwelling on it. Inuulit-ulit niya sa isip niya yung ginawa ng kasama niya sa trabaho.
Nakakalungkot pa ganun.
And if it separates, close friends, ano pa kaya yung mag-asawa? Diba? Ayun.
Okay.
So ako, whenever there is an argument or fight, we stop in our tracks and say, okay, time out. No more attacking. Let's stop this and let's pray. Let's each pray to the Holy Spirit and ask Him what He wants us to do. You remember we used to do that in our early years?
Yes.
And most of the time, di ba, anong sagot?
Most of the time, sasabihin ni God, I'm sorry, or
to tell you to say sorry. Diba?
Tapos, may kakilala tayo, di ba? Sinasabi ni God sa kanya, bigyan mo ng foot massage yung asawa mo. Yun.
So, yun. Ay, public naman si Anthony and Maricel. In our last vlog, we have a vlog on our YouTube channel called Forever Honeymooners. And Anthony and Maricel were our guests. And then sabi nila, si Maricel sabi niya, sinasabihan siya ni Lord na, i-foot massage mo si Anthony.
Kaya kahit inis na siya, kailangan talagang mag-serve, mag-foot massage. Sabi ko, ano klaseng foot massage? Reflexology ba yan yung masakit? Hindi daw. Siyempre, kailangan loving and respectful ang foot massage niya.
Ako, honestly, di ba, many times, it's my fault and I'll be proud not to admit it. I will give you the silent treatment. And but you know what? God always convicts me to be gentle. Sasabihin niya lagi, mag-ano ka na, mag-sorry ka na, don't be angry, huwag ka na magtampo, huwag ka na magtampo yung unggoy, and take the lead by humbling yourself and reaching out.
Sabi
Yun.
sa'yo eh.
Oo.
Hindi, alam mo, ako din, kino-convict din ako ng Holy Spirit pag kunyari, may sasabihin ka sa akin na gawin, tapos hindi ko ginagawa, nagde-delay, o kaya kung anong sinabi mo, tataliwas ako. Nako-convict ako eh, kaya kailangan bumaliktad ako. Kumbaga kung anong ginagawa ko, tigilan ko na, tapos bumaliktad ako, magsasorry ako sa'yo. Ganun. Kaya malaking bagay talaga yung hihingi tayo ng guidance kay Lord. Lord, what you like me to do about this? Kasi if you really listen and tune in, you will really hear from God, and He will convict you, and He will gently, but He will also tell you what to do.
Right. And you know what? A big thing also, at the end of the day, we're not fighting with each other.
Oo,
Diba?
totoo.
Look at the wisdom of Paul in the Bible. He says, we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. So you know what? Evil and good is real. And we have to remember, ako, when I'm fighting or no arguing, she's not the enemy.
Yeah, you are not my enemy.
And the one who wants us to fight is the enemy.
Yes.
So just remember that.
So yung kalaban is yung demonyo na gustong maghiwalay ng relationships natin. Kasi when you think that my spouse is not my enemy, it's si Taning ang gustong magsira ng relationship na ito, mababago yung paradigm mo eh. Magkakaroon ng shift sa pag-iisip mo na you can only then can you say na, okay, let's fight this together. Let's fight the enemy together, and we're on the same side. Where let's pray together so that the Lord can help us overcome this challenge.
And there were times that I would do that. Okay, honey, babe, let's pray na lang. Let's pray. And then we would fight the enemy together. Sabi nga ng hashtag FFYM.
Fight for your marriage.
Fight for your
marriage.
Like that. Diba? If you're to fight, dapat fight together as a couple for your marriage.
Yes. Yes, after all, we're all in one team.
Yeah.
Diba? We're teammates here. We're not opponents. Diba? So, yan dapat ang mindset natin in relationships.
And isa pa, para makaiwas sa away, sa inggitan, stop comparing your marriage or relationship with others. Because
comparison is the thief of joy. So dead man na yung mga relationship na iba. Pag nag-scroll kayo ng FB, tapos nakikita nyo sweetie-sweetie sila, pero yung husband mo, hindi ka pinapansin, di ba? Dead man na, wag mo nang pansinin yung mga relationship ng iba. Focus kayo sa relationship ninyo. And you know what, wives? Pag hindi kayo pinapansin ng husbands nyo, isumbong nyo kay Lord. Yan ang effective na sumbong. Dahil...
wag sa mother-in-law or sa mother.
Oo, wag sa mother-in-law kasi lalong magugulo ang relationship ninyo pag sinumbong nyo sa mother. Yan.
Sige. Well, let's go forward kasi we have 2 more principles to go through.
Okay.
You know, kasi being grace-filled means actually always assuming that your partner has goodwill for you. Diba? That she means no harm. Diba? I mean, I don't think that we get into fights because initially you planned to do harm to me, di ba? Hindi naman eh.
Hindi, minsan lang minsan iba lang yung paningin natin sa sitwasyon eh. I mean, I'm wearing a pink lens glasses, you're wearing blue lens glasses. Akala ko there would be times when I would tell you something or ask you, yung pala para sa'yo disrespectful na yon. Di ba? So, o kaya ewan ko, may mga situation na gano'ng iba yung paningin mo sa paningin ko. Kaya nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding.
Diba? What does she mean? Baka, I'm sure she doesn't mean
any harm.
Or when she said this, hindi naman siguro niya, she didn't mean to hurt me, di ba?
So we have to give grace to the other person. And also,
be other-centric. Think about the other as more important. It says here, di ba?
Or do nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interest of others.
Yeah. So we should look out for the interests of others. When you wake up in the morning, I have a list. I said, what should I do for God? And then I put there, what do I need to do for my spouse, for my wife, for my children, before I even go to my list for myself.
Talaga, you
Mm.
pray that.
I list it down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yun. Ako naman, pag nagde-date kami,
Mm.
pag nagde-date naman kami, ito yung isa sa mga gusto kong
Mm.
tanungin.
Mm-hmm.
Yan, how can I be a better wife to you?
Yeah. And
Saka
then I
yung
ask,
husband, my husband asked me the same, how can I be a better husband to you?
yun.
So
Yeah.
malaking bagay yan, no?
Mm.
This is a good suggestion when you go on your dates.
Mm.
'Di ba? Actually suggestion namin, sana every week, once a week,
Mhm.
you go out with your partners. And then instead of talking about other things, 'di ba?
Mm.
Talk about your relationship, talk about each other, revisit the times when it was just you and your spouse.
Mm.
And you're not just talking sweet nothings to each other, but actually asking quality questions
Mm.
for each other. At kahit
Yeah.
quarantine, pwede din naman
Pwede.
mag-quarantine dates, di ba?
Yeah. No excuse not to go out. I mean, not to
Mm-mm.
have a date. You can do it in your own.
In the balcony of your home, in your
yeah.
own bedroom, o
Mm.
kaya, di ba, pag, saan pa ba? Sa garahe. In
Yeah,
the
sa garahe.
backyard, di ba? Sa garden ninyo, pwede naman
Oo.
mag-quarantine dates kahit bawal
Yeah.
lumabas.
Tapos ako, mga lalaki, observe what your wife is struggling with or saan siya nahirapan or where you can relieve her and be of help. So when I came back from quarantine in Hawaii and then napansin ko every morning nilalakad niya si Elijah when he was just 1 year old. Yun, sabi ko, honey, babe, ako na maglalakad sa kanya.
Yun. So nag-alternate na tayo this time.
Tapos I'd spend time with the family and kahit hard lockdown pa noon, we buy
We bought a rubber pool from the supermarket.
Yun. 500
Tapos,
pesos
nilagay natin sa backyard natin. Ginawa nating Boracay.
Yun.
Di ba? Yung likod ng bahay.
At ngayon, nasa
Boracay.
Yeah, malaking backyard na siya.
Yan, tunay na Boracay na tayo. Yan.
Okay. And then my wife naman, to her credit, she always asks nga, how can she be a better wife? And then I told her, well, hindi ako pwedeng pumunta ng barbershop at that time. So, ginugupitan niya ako.
Yun, nag-aral ako sa YouTube kung paano maggupit ng hair.
Ayun, no?
Pag may mga talks ang asawa
Tsaka
ko.
kaya kalahati na lang yung tenga ko dito.
Hindi naman. Kompleto ka. Yun. So what else did I do when I noticed that my husband needed help? So syempre madalas mag-talk yung asawa ko. So tinutulungan ko rin siya mag-set up ng computer and lighting.
Yeah.
Tapos para din makatipid, since hindi rin naman masyadong lumalabas during the time, nag-aral ako na gumawa ng bread, gumawa ng pizza, tsaka magluto-luto. Yan. So nasa na yung prezi natin. Ayan. So, yun. So, those are just little things that we do in order to keep our relationship hot. Yeah. Kayo po, during quarantine, share naman po some ideas that you did with your spouse or some ideas that you can do so that you can make your relationship hotter. Kasi marami sa mga viewers natin ang mas matatagal pang, di ba, married longer than us.
Ito. And don't deprive each other of intimacy. Itong gusto ng mga lalaki pakinggan. Ito. It's about depriving ito. Yeah. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5 it says, "Do not deprive each other of sexual relations." Can you read the rest, please?
Unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy for a long time, so limited time, so that you can give yourselves more completely to prayer. Afterward, you should come together again so that Satan won't be able to tempt you because of your lack of self-control. So, ibig sabihin, do not deprive each other. Diba? Kailangan merong sexy time, intimate time.
Sabi ng mga lalaki, amen!
Amen. Eto, tinanong ko kanina, di ba, anong ginagawa ninyo with your spouse to make your relationship hotter? Ang sagot ni Roland, we did family learning sessions during the pandemic. We involved our 3 boys to discuss any topic they want to discuss. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And tsaka sila ang namili ng topic. Yun ang maganda.
Oo.
Kasi para ano sila. That's a great suggestion, Roland. Sir Roland of AXA Legazpi branch.
Yun. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to share so that we can all learn from one another? I'm sure there's so many things we can learn from you.
Pero ito, I love this study about the top 5 love needs of a wife versus a husband. And you can compare.
Babasahin ko sana yung sinulat ni Judith.
Sige.
Yan, sinulat ni Judith, we are doing nightly conjugal prayer, mutual interest. Ano po yung
Plantita
mutual
and
interest?
plantito.
Plantito and
Nagpa-plant sila.
They plant together. Tapos gabi-gabi, nagdadasal sila, conjugal prayer.
Ang ganda yung
And
plantita.
they spend time together doing their mutual interests. Like, they're both plantito and plantita.
Ang ganda yan, nadidiligan.
Ayun. So,
Okay.
so ito, in case of just thinking of ideas, no, on how to make a relationship hotter, ito po ilan sa mga needs ng wife and needs ng husbands, you know. So I'm just
Tignan mo yung number 1, babe. Tsaka number 2.
so sa babae,
nagagamit yung utak.
ang number 1 need po ng babae is unconditional love and acceptance. At ganun din ng lalaki, unconditional love and acceptance. Pero tingnan niyo po yung number 2. Ang top number 2 need ng babae is emotional intimacy. Pero ang top number 2 need ng husband is sexual intimacy. Yan, sounds familiar ba? Iba talaga ang lalaki at babae. So, in terms of intimate time, we really need to give a chance for every spouse to address their need. Number 3, sa babae ay spiritual intimacy. In other words, nasa-share niya yung love niya for God with their partner. Number 3 ang lalaki.
What's in her heart? What's in her spirit?
Yeah.
And number 3 naman sa lalaki is companionship. Like if I'm going out, kasi kung hindi ako sasama ng asawa ko, magbabarkada na lang ako. Samahan niyo ako maglaro or go out, watch a movie, etc., travel. So a guy will look for companionship. That's what he needs from his wife. Kailangan game na game siya.
So kung mahilig kang mag-biking, dapat ako marunong din ako mag-bike. Kung tumatakbo yung husband, dapat nakikitakbo din yung wife. Gaya ng sinabi ni Ma'am Judith kanina, di ba? Mutual interest, nagpa-plantito and plantita. Part ng companionship yan.
Yes. Cooking, sabi ni?
Si cooking, sabi ni Evangelina. Si Geraldine, cooking din. Ayun.
Okay.
Sabi ni Julie, we have family quiet and prayer time and respect daw ang alam niyang need ng mga men. Yes, totoo po yan.
Okay. Meron pang dalawa. Number 4.
Number 4,
Pareho.
encouragement and affirmation. Pareho pong kailangan ng wife and husband yan. And finally, number 5, companionship for the wife and spiritual intimacy for the husband.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope you learned from that. Take a screenshot of that, right? It's very, very helpful in growing your relationship. Okay, let's move forward. Okay. Ayan. Ayan. Ano lang yan, ha? Huwag kayong halang sexual intimacy sa labas kasi ito yung si Chris Rock, he destroyed his marriage and it was
due to infidelity.
Sa pornography.
And pornography.
Pornography.
Ako, iwas po sa pornography.
Yeah. So, talking about family and spirituality.
Okay, let's move on to W na po. So W is for walking with God.
Yeah, this is so important. And many times, di ba, dito sa Pilipinas, we don't really talk about it. We're silent, or we just, let religion take over or rituals without a relationship, without growing a relationship also with our maker and creator.
Pero dapat po talaga, we need to build a relationship with our creator, with God as our top priority. Kasi po, alam niyo po ang relationship sa lalaki at babae, para pong ganito. Parang triangle yan eh. Ito si God sa ibabaw, ito yung babae, ito yung lalaki. When both of you pursue God individually, tingnan niyo po, mas napapalapit yung lalaki at babae. Pero if only the woman pursues God, and the man does not, tingnan nyo, lalo yung nagkakalayo. O kaya ganyan, diba? So dapat talaga individually, woman and man, both of you need to pursue God as individuals so that you will become close to one another.
So yun ang order priorities. We don't, sometimes kasi nagiging number one on children. We're so focused on children or work, and we forget about the order priorities, which is God first, and then of course our spouse, and then children, work, ministry, and friends. And ito, di ba? When you put God first together, what happens?
Of course, you become closer together as a couple. Things work out better because, all relationships are based on our vertical relationship. If your vertical relationship is in order, all horizontal relationships will be in order as well. But if your vertical relationship is not in order, it affects also your horizontal relationships. One of the promises in the Bible is that if we seek first God's kingdom, all things that we chase after will be added onto us. So let us put God first and put Him first together.
Amen. And for the man, make sure that that prayer is a priority. The man is supposed to be the spiritual leader of the family. So make sure that the family, has time to pray, and you're guided by the good book, the Word of God. Kasi ang dami-daming wisdom to help us with relationships. When the pandemic was beginning, nag-aaway-aaway yung mga staff, and then my son was depressed, he was complaining. We go back, I bring them back to the Word of God. We'd sit down and we would read scripture together about what we should be thinking about. Philippians 4:8 says, think about these things, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is excellent, whatever is admirable. Think about these things. And once you use the Bible and the words of God as a filter to their thoughts that come in, and maraming negative thoughts, it works so well. You find yourself nawawalan ka ng negativity, and you tend to be more positive and look at each other with love and respect.
And being grace-filled and other-centered becomes even easier when your relationship with God is at the forefront. But I like what you said about the man being the spiritual leader in the family. Kasi mostly, especially for women, di ba? Women ang laging madasalin, women ang laging nagsisimba araw-araw, yung men, wala lang, di ba? Pero, importante po talaga na the man also pursues God individually, and he rises up as the spiritual leader of the family, because the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 33 ba yun? Chapter 5:33, God is the leader of the marriage, and then the appointed leader of the family is the husband, and then the wife, and then the children. So that is God's order of authority in the family. If the man does not take his lead, diba, affected yung wife, affected yung children. If the man does not take up his lead, then babae yung nagta-take over. Wala na ngayon sa tamang order according to God's plan. So, my encouragement talaga. Sa'yo naman galing encouragement kasi ikaw yung lalaki.
Yeah, encouragement is, as a couple, guys, serve God through the church, through a ministry. And when you serve together as a couple, wow, sobra. Napupuno yung puso nyo, dalawa, with God's love because of your service, and you fall in love with God. And all that love overflows to
each other. Yun. Alam mo yun, yung pong isa sa mga secret kung bakit nagiging hot ang relationship namin ni Ardy. Kasi after we do a ministry together, ministry event, ministry talk together, parang because we spend time with God praying, planning for our talk, and then we spend time with each other, companionship, doing something that is purposeful for the both of us. Then it also teaches us, we're downloading from God, downloading from the Bible, and doing our best to apply it in our own lives. Mas nagiging rich yung relationship natin. And I think that's also
it
one
fertilizes.
of the... Yes. Tapos, syempre, it leads to other things, di ba? When you talk to each other as a couple, di ba, you have face-to-face time, and then you have shoulder-to-shoulder time. You spend time with each other, tapos susunod yung tummy-to-tummy. Alam niyo na po yun, di ba? So, yun, magandang...
Siamese twins.
Yeah. No, I mean...
I know.
I mean, it's a good thing when both of you serve God together, because that's the purpose of our being here on earth. It's to serve God and give Him glory.
Yeah, and I agree. The couple that serves together
stays together.
Yan.
Yun.
Wow. So, we've recap tayo. Ayan na. I mean, let me know what struck you guys. Ano yung tumama or may tagos sa puso? Ano yung may pugot sa inyo?
Ano yung mga
What is your
niyong
favorite principle? Is it
grace-filled? Is it being other-centered? Is it walking with God? Share with us on the chat. Ano po, what really struck you? What have you learned differently in this past 2 hours that we've been together? Because we would like to know. And we'll be interested what really hit you and what would even make your relationship hotter. So please
naman,
type it in the chat.
Anong favorite mo dyan sa tatlong yan?
Ako yung knowing the needs of husband and wife. At din sa other-centric. The other-centric. Kasi sometimes, I mean, as a person, we're more...
Pareho kay ni Mon.
May tendency tayo maging selfish, di ba? Sarili lang natin naiisip. Pero when I think of another person or think of you and your needs too, not just my own, parang it takes the focus not just away from me, but also consider you, what you need. And so, yung tip natin sa kanila, na yung 5 needs of a woman and 5 needs of the husband, it really reminds me that, okay, kailangan pala bibigyan kita ng intimate time, na pag kumakalabit ka, hindi ako magno-no, diba? Tapos pag meron ka mga activities, mas gusto mo na nandun ako right by your side because it feeds your need for companionship.
Right.
Yun.
Ito, ang ganda sinabi ni
Simon,
Mon
ano
from
sabi
Sunlight.
niya?
Tumama sa kanya being other-centric kasi sabi niya, love is an unconditional commitment towards imperfect people seeking their highest good, which at times requires sacrifice, but it results in God's honor and glory. Ang ganda, no?
Ganda.
Parang author-speaker.
Parang CCF siya. Kasi ganun din sinabi ni Pastor Peter.
Si Marie Charmaine said, walking with God. Okay. Si
Aurea May Tolentino says, the family that prays together stays together.
Ayun.
Uy, may question na si Caracel.
Ito kasi direct ko. What
if si husband, di ganun ka-deep ang relationship kay God? Will I still follow him as the head or leader of the family? Mamaya po pag-uusapan natin yan. Si Irene nag-impact sa kanya yung apology language.
Si Beth, walk with God, seeking the kingdom of God.
Si Evangelina, how can I be a better wife to my husband? And grace-filled lagi yun. So thank you for sharing with us what impacted you. It's important for us also to hear from you so that we know what is effective in our talk. Si Lay Madara, sabi niya, walk with God. Yan daw nag-impact sa kanya.
Before we end, meron tayong isang special short segment for those who are single.
Yan, sino ditong single? Taas kamay. Uy, humabol pa. Sabi, other-centric, focusing on your partner needs to make him happier.
Mga
sabi
single,
ni Gerald. Ayan na. Ayan, may mga bigyan natin sila ng mga tips sa ating mga single.
Okay.
Ayan.
Basta, ito tandaan nyo mga single, Mary, Faith, it is better
to be lonely and single than lonely and married. Tama. Kasi sabi nila, di ba, if you're already lonely as a single person, pag nag-asawa ka, mas mag-escalate pa yung loneliness mo. Kasi you really cannot, your partner cannot make you happy.
Yes.
That's true. That's my experience in my first relationship. I thought when I got married, my partner will make me happy. Pero, yung pala, I wasn't happy within myself. When I got married, it became an escape. So that I thought I can be happier. But then, when I got into that relationship, wala, lalo lang, kumbaga, na-highlight yung reasons ko for my loneliness. Kaya 2.5 years lang kami. But, di ba? But, when I finally married the man that God set aside for me, and I was already happy with Jesus, whether I was married or not, the happiness in my marriage just escalated the happiness that was already within myself that God has given me. Diba?
So in other words, kahit single ka, happy ka na, di ba? Parang you don't get married to be happy kasi nga, what happens is people lower their standards. Di ba? Basta humihinga, pwede na.
Basta may skirt, pwede na. Hindi, wag ganun.
It's true, di ba? Sabi na, a bad marriage is 1,000 times worse than being single. Diba?
Mm-mm.
So the question is how to choose. How to choose. Oh, ito, before we end, let's give the singles some ideas. Diba? Ito yung mga world standards. Ano ba yung mga world standards?
Yung
Diba?
mga
Five
5 C's.
C's.
Yung iba kasi sa inyo, naghahanap ng may car, merong cash, merong condo, naghahanap ng cute and charming. Wag po. Ibang C's po ang hanapin natin. Kasi maaring nag-expect kayo. Diba?
Akala
Pero,
mo.
may expectation and reality. Diba? Wag ganyan. Bawal ang ganyan. Nakaka-depress ang ganyan.
Expectation mo si Aquaman.
Oo, si Aquaman, yung pala show ko yan dumating, di ba? Many times we really end up being disappointed if we have so much expectations.
Yeah.
But what's important is you find out what does God want for you.
Tsaka don't look at the
marry.
outward appearance, di ba? Sabi nga ni Lord, like the Lord, He looks at the heart. So look at the heart just like what God does. And ito yung mga...
Instead of looking for cash, car, condo, etc., look for 5 C's. Hindi worldly standards, kundi kingdom standards. At ito po yun. You look for one who is a Christ follower. Hindi lang siya believer, but someone who really pursues Christ. Someone who loves God so much. Diba? Especially whether you're a woman or a man. Why? Because if this person pursues Christ or has a relationship with Christ above all, then that person will listen to God when God corrects him or her, when God guides him so that you can have a better relationship. So, yan po ang naging maganda sa asawa ko kasi alam ko yung asawa ko nakikinig kay Lord. At pag nakinig siya kay Lord, tinuturuan siya ni Lord kung paano ako mahalin gaya ng pagmamahal sa akin ni Lord. So, dapat talaga Christ follower ang susundin niyo. Pangalawa, look for a person of character. When you're getting to know this person, hanapin niyo yung mga red flags sa character niya. Meron ba siyang addictive personality? May greedy, spender ba siya? Anger, bitter, dishonest? Iwasan po natin yon. Pero hanapin po natin yung godliness character, yung merong fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control. Kasi this we will know when a man has good character, yan po yung mga mas tumatagal sa relationship and will help build your relationship stronger. Yun yung mga masarap kasama kasi kind, tender-hearted, di ba? Yan yung mga kasama dyan sa character. Ano pa? Look for someone who is ready to commit. Di ba? If you put yourself in a tough situation, maaasahan mo ba yung taong to? Or kung handa na ba sila magpakasal, baka naman may sabit pa at magiging mas complicated pa relationship niyo. Wag, iwas po kayo doon. Will this person be willing to work with you through the relationship in order to make things work or make the relationship thrive? Dapat ang lalaki or ang babae ready na rin to commit. Ano pa? Is this person caring? Because love is caring. Caring is anticipating the needs of your partner or your spouse for tomorrow and also taking care of it today. So look for one who is kind, caring, and also one who is compatible with you, especially with your life purpose and your calling. Do you both want to serve God? Or isa lang sa inyo? There should be chemistry here. There should be alignment here. Kasi po, yun po ang naging revelation ni God sa relationships must glorify God above all.
Yun.
Now, ito pa, last C, bonus C, number 6C.
Company. Do you enjoy each other's company? Diba? Dapat naman kasi you're gonna be together. Do you wanna go places with each other? Do you enjoy each other's company? Dapat.
And also, especially for women, how do you feel about yourself when you're around this person? Does this person make you feel less than who you are? Does this person make you feel insecure? You know what I liked about hanging out with my husband? Even the first few times na nag-date kami, what I sense about myself is that I am relaxed. I am relaxed. I can be myself when I'm in his presence. Wow. Kasi yung iba, di ba, parang tinotrophy lang nila ako. Kasi ay beauty queen, ay maganda, ay celebrity. So para sa kanila, ego boost sa kanila. So parang hindi naman maganda sa akin yun, di ba? Kasi mahal lang nila ako dahil
sa image
sa image, di ba? Paano kung paano kung hindi na ako in my perfect self? What if at my lowest? What if I'm in my perfect self, what if I suddenly reveal my imperfections? Diba, will this person still like me? Yun. So dapat talaga hanapin natin na relax tayo with this person. We're not trying to put up a front. We're not trying to put up a face or a facade. You have to be who you are with this person, warts and all.
I like that.
Yun.
In other words, I like this meme, babe.
Ano yan, ano yan?
Nakalagay dito, don't look for someone who will solve all your problems. Look for someone who will face them with you.
Ay, gusto ko yan.
Diba? Oh.
Stand
And don't be the
by me.
problem. So,
Oh,
anyway, we've run out of
stand.
time.
Ay, ubus na.
Again, so we have in our YouTube channel, #Forever Honeymooners, where we
Yun.
have different couples from Edric and Joy Mendoza,
Yeah, we interview
Peter and Christine
couples.
Cairuz.
Mhm.
So, yun po.
They give us advice and also
Mm.
our audience advice on
Yeah.
how to keep their relationship strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, again, there you have it. Something for
That's growing in marriage, be grace-filled,
Mm.
be other-centric, and walk with God.
Yeah. All right. So hope you enjoyed, and we are now, if we still have time, we're
Ready
always
for our
open for
Q&A.
Q&A.
All right. Thank you very
Wow.
much, Sir Ardy and Miss Miriam. Alam mo, RJ, my love tank is full. And I'm
Grabe.
sure everyone's heart were captured by your talk and presentation. And it looks like we're all ready to power up and live a purposeful life.
Right. Alam mo, merong one word lang na pumapasok sa isip ko habang nakikinig ako ng talk. Na-realize ko lang, no, if I may share, just a little bit, yung pride pala, yung word na pride, dapat pala pinanlalaban lang yun, ano. I am sorry is the key. Yan ang natutunan ko, ha. Share ko lang. Thank you po. Thank you. Ardy and Miriam. But now, our attendees, okay, are even more ready, okay, to interact with our speakers. Eto na, game. Question and answer. To all our guests, you may now send your questions about the topic using the chat box found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So chat box po. Alright? So get ready with your questions. Pero I'll take this opportunity kasi I have a question. Okay? I have a question. Ito naman kasi, minsan kasi ito kosto ng away when we talk about family. Minsan kosto ito ng away ng husband and wife. Yeah? Ng mag-asawa. Not all family relationships are healthy. Right? Especially in the traditional Filipino context. Andiyan ang, I don't know, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, maraming kwento, right? Maraming kwento. Pero if I may ask, what exactly do you do, okay, to always forgive and look past your family members? To what extent should you do this? So that syempre, alagaan natin ang ating mental health. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you paraphrase that para
To what extent should you do what?
do pagka inaapi ka or what? Sorry, RJ?
Okay. To what extent should you do this, okay, so you can still take care of your mental health?
Oh, you know what? When you do this, the things that we shared, it's actually good for your mental health. Because studies show that when you're other-centric, for example, if you're depressed and you start taking care of other people, it will refresh you. Mawawala yung depression mo. In fact, King Solomon said, a generous man will prosper, but he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. So the more you focus on other people and refresh them and care for them, the better it is for your mental health, actually.
Wow.
Kaya kung depressed ka, imbes na looking at yourself and looking at your problems, try to look outside of you and look at how you can help solve other people's problems. Then you won't be depressed.
You'll be full of
anymore.
hope. You know what, RG, what hope stands for? Hope stands for helping other people every day.
Yun.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Amazing. Right.
Pero ano yung tanong mo, RJ, na to what extent do you do this na may family members pa? Ano yun? Hindi namin naintindihan that part of the question.
May hugot yata kay
Hugay kay RJ.
Wala namang hugot. Teka lang, wala namang hugot. Pero kasi minsan, di ba, parang pagka, hanggang kailan ka magpapatawad kung sakaling sa eksena ng sa family niyo, I don't know, kung meron talagang masakit na storya or a bad history, Hanggang kailan mo titiisin? Hanggang kailan mo titiisin yung sitwasyon? Uh, how can you let go? Hanggang kailan ka mag-forgive? How to move on basically from that situation.
The key is not to be
Ganun.
historical. Kailangan kalimutan mo. Have a very short memory. Because sabi nga kanina, di ba, yung principle is if you dwell on it, it will really separate you. So kalimutan mo na yung the past, what happened, and then project yourself in the future. Always look, there was a Harvard study that showed the power of the Pygmalion effect, di ba? Kasi the people will grow or reach to what you expect them to. So, nasaktan ka na before. And then inisip mo, naku, sasaktan na naman ako niyan. Walang hiya yan, walang mod yan. Ganun lagi inisip mo, he will live up or she will live up to your expectation. Pero pag inisip mo sa kanya, he made a mistake, pagbibigyan ko, I'm sure she has the potential to be, kind and loving and caring. If that's your mindset for that person, he or she will live up to your expectation as a kind, loving, and caring person.
If I may add, si Jean Moalong, she
70
typed in
times.
the chat 70 times 7. Actually, that's a reminder because Jesus himself said, when you forgive 7. May nagtanong sa kanya, disciple,
How many
diba?
times?
How many times should we forgive? Ang sabi ni Jesus, 70 times 7.
In other
Magkano ba
words,
yung 70 times 7? In other words,
only.
Oo, only. Like, finurgive na kita once ngayon. Finurgive kita 10 times na ngayon, ha? 21 times na, hindi ko ganun. Ibig sabihin, only. Pero just to add to Ardy's answer, no? Sabi mo, hanggang kailan natin titiisin? Hanggang kailan tayo magpo-forgive? Apart from Jesus saying, forgive na only, syempre hindi naman tayo Jesus, di ba? Meron din tayong hangganan kasi tao tayo di ba? My advice is, if there is something that irritates you or does not go well with you, I think we also need to establish boundaries. Like for a family member who is meddling with your parenting or meddling with your relationship, for example, you can set aside that person privately and then say it with love and respect na, I know that you mean well. I know that, kunyari, anong binibigay niya mga unsolicited advice. Sabihin natin, kasi madami mga ganyan relatives, di ba? Nakikisaw-saw, nagbibigay ng mga unsolicited advice. Maybe what you can do is, instead of mainis ka, instead of titiisin mo hanggang umabot na sa punto na, ay naku, walang-wala na talaga, nag-erupt ka parang Taal Volcano, siguro you need to establish boundaries. Now, pag nararamdaman mo pa lang na naiirita ka na, maybe set aside, like I said, set aside in private and say respectfully and with love. Sabi mo, I recognize that you care for me and my husband, or care for my parenting, you care for my child, but if it's okay with you, parang I recognize your suggestion, thank you, but this is how I would like to parent, or this is what my husband and I agreed, so that hindi na kailangan umabot sa punto na mag-e-erupt ka na, tapos masisira yung relationship niyo kasi hindi mo na makontrol yung sarili mong emotions, di ba?
Montessori approach.
Oo, Montessori approach. Hindi. Kumbaga, you need to establish boundaries because you also need to respect yourself. Na hindi ka naabot dun sa punto na magagalit kang sobra-sobra na masisira pa yung relationship mo with this relative of yours, di ba? So, need to just respect yourself and respect that person by establishing a boundary and speaking it in truth with love.
Yan.
Diba?
Preach it.
Alright.
Yun ang suggestion ko.
Very nice.
Thank you.
May tanong kanina si Rosette.
Ano sasabihin ko siya?
Ay, sorry. Shout out kay Bex Totenko, ang aking Manulife agent. Hello, nakita ko yung message niya sa chat.
Hi, Miriam. Thank you to you and Ardy.
You're welcome. Meron ka pala doon?
Ha? Oo naman.
Hindi ka lang meron ka pala.
Oo,
doon.
ilang years ko na siyang insurance agent.
Okay. From the topic of forgiveness, siguro, itatanong ko to sa inyo, no, Sir Ardy and Miss Miriam. Yung diniscussion na huling-huli, yung 5 C's. Siyempre, I'm sure maraming nag-notes dyan ng mga single. Ang tanong ko, kapag po ba, parang ano ba to, pumipili ka, parang checklist ba to? na dapat lahat kompleto.
Ikaw.
Kailangan
Ikaw,
ba
Andy.
lahat kompleto? Siyempre, kasi
Yes.
kasi oo nga, kasi ano ba yung listahan natin? Christ-centered, may character, commitment ready, you enjoy the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Ano pa yung
And
listahan?
caring.
Or hindi mo kailangan 10 lahat, but to some extent, meron siyang score, di ba? Parang,
Pero magkakasama kasi yung Christ follower, may character, commitment, caring, compatibility, you enjoy the company. Sabihin natin, kung hindi siya Christ follower, pero meron siyang character, ready siya for commitment, caring siya, compatible kayo, tapos you enjoy your company, nasa sayo yun. Nasa sayo yun. Siguro kung pareho kayong hindi Christ follower, di ba?
or hindi pa.
Oo, hindi pa.
Mag-evangeligaw ko muna.
Oo. Pero hindi natin
Hindi,
alam kasi kung meron mga
But
Christians
there
yun or
will come a time, if
non-Christian.
you're not compatible, let's say one is a Christian, you follow Christ, or you have this faith, you're a person of faith, and the other is not a person of faith. Let's say she doesn't believe in God. Later on, magkakaroon kayo ng conflict.
Yeah, magkaka-conflict. Kasi
Oo.
let's
Especially if
say,
you get married, di ba?
Oo.
Tapos,
Ano na yung kailangan nyo?
saan kayo magsisimba?
hmm,
Anong guidelines na
how will you parent?
values?
How will you parent your children?
Oo.
Nakita.
Anong values ang susundan ninyo? Kasi if you're a Christ follower, di ba, biblical tayo. Susunod tayo dun sa sinasabi ng Bible, sa sinasabi ni Jesus. Pero hindi naman pala Christ follower, parang magkakaroon kayo ng conflict in terms of purpose.
I think we have a question from the audience na. Yeah, let's go. Let's flash it on screen. Okay, from Mary Michelle Honorio. What was the greatest challenge you've had in your marriage?
What's the greatest challenge we've had in our marriage?
Well, I wouldn't really point out to one. Ako siguro in the beginning of the marriage, for me, the challenge was the adjustment that I was concerned about Miriam adjusting kasi yung lifestyle niya before, and also yung expectation niya siguro from a husband was different. So parang yun sa akin greatest challenge na meron pa siya mga hang-ups in the beginning that I had to just overlook. Kasi yung background niya, alam mo na, celebrity, high lifestyle, and also yung compatibility when it comes to honestly the physical aspect. Yun. Sa akin yun. Parang I had to overlook that and forgive her and be patient with her until she was, 100% all in. Just being honest.
Yeah. I think I know na that situation kasi okay. Tayo lang naman, 'di ba? It's just 310 of us in this Zoom chat.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Huwag na kayo maingay, atin lang to. Kasi before I married Ardy, I was in love with this man that was everything I thought I wanted to be. He was.
You wanted to have.
I wanted to have, not what I wanted to have as a partner. He was from an alta sociedad familia. He graduated from Harvard. He was mestizo, matipuno. He was wealthy, ganyan. Pero hindi siya Christian. So for 2 years before I met Ardy, I was really praying. I was asking God to make him Christian. Yun yung sinabi ko na akala ko MU kami pero lagi ako na-intercept ng iba mga babae. Yung pala hindi pa siya ready to settle down. He was still sowing his wild oats. Pero dahil type na type ko talaga siya, talagang pinag-pray ko, pinagluhod ko, Lord, gawin mo siyang Christian. Tapos inaasahan ko talaga maging kami. Tapos, biglang all of a sudden, present ni Lord si Ardy sa akin. Binulong niya yung pangalan ni Ardy sa puso ko. Tapos eventually, nanligaw si Ardy. Tapos ito na, malapit na kaming ikasal. Nung kinasal na kami, na-realize ko, may hang up pala ako dun sa guy na yon. So parang, mag-asawa na kami, nagiging intimate time kami, pero merong times na iisip ko yung guy. So parang merong emotional adultery, di ba? Na ang nagiging effect, kinikriticize ko si Ardy in my mind. Okay, so parang meron akong emotional adultery. Atin-atin lang to ha. Tapos, 302 lang naman tayo. Tapos, ang challenge doon is how do I get over this? Kasi if I'm not telling anyone about it, if I'm not confessing it, how can I get over this challenge? Kasi unless I let this man go from my heart, I cannot fully devote my heart and mind and body to my now husband. So I struggled with it for a few months. Kahit nag-honeymoon tayo, struggle ko pa rin yun eh. Ilang buwan tayo nag-honeymoon, di ba? Iba-ibang country. Tapos, until a good friend of mine said, oh, sis, ang tawag dito, CJM. Yung naging maid of honor ko, sabi niya sa akin. Tapos, sabi ng friend ko, tara, tawagin natin si